Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you joined us. Welcome to today's live stream. Today, we want to cover the so-called US non-farm payrolls, which is basically a fancy description for the US job market data, with the exception of jobs in the agricultural sector. And let's see, I can see a lot of you guys already joined. We have Antonia there again. Mirkes, we have Carrie there, we have Lompra Ragnar there, Susa Diego is here, BG Forex Academy is here. Welcome, guys. Good to see everybody. And you know how it is. As always, we are going to do our community trading again, where you guys can decide, have the opportunity to decide which positions you want me to trade during the release of a non-farm payrolls. And for that, we of course have again our voting polls still open on our Academy Telegram group. If you are not yet a member of that Telegram group, I highly suggest you go into the description of this live stream and click there on the link to Telegram. And there you will find a poll that I posted yesterday. You can still cast your vote on that poll for the next 20 minutes. And after that is decided, the top 2 picks from that poll, I'm going to engage in live trading positions here shortly before the release of the US non-farm payrolls, which are going to be due in around about 28 minutes. And yeah, if you've been following the live streams here on news releases, you might have noticed that we have quite a good hit rate when it comes to trading those live events based on the choice that you guys make on the Telegram community of the Academy. So far, 3.5 out of 4 times we ended the live streams here on news releases with nice and decent winnings, 3.5 out of 4 times, because the last time was a little bit in profit, but not too much. So let's see later what you guys picked for today. I can tell you so far, it's been a really, really close race, and you know, every vote can still tip the scale into a direction we haven't had so far, I think. Good. What we want to do here, I can see more of you are joining right now. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger. So I'm going to start first again by, of course, preparing my account first. And do I have my account already open? I do not have my account open right now. So let me quickly log in to my trading account, because of course, you know, it's beginning of August. We have a brand new bonus code for you guys again, which I'm quickly going to show you also here. Hold on a second. Academy -50 for a 50% reduction of trading fees. And of course, this is always something nice, you know, for events like this, where we want to trade on the very short term time horizon here, that we can save a little bit on trading fees, because especially when it comes to scalping, of course, trading fees are going to reduce your return on investment majorly, although of course PrimeXBT has very low trading fees. So have I logged into my account? Yeah, but I haven't brought it up here. All right, now you can see this. So we are going to our US dollar Tether account again here. And while we are waiting for it to load, we might have a quick look at the charts and prepare a little bit for what is going to come down. Later, of course, guys, I'm going to answer your question again, so no doubt about that. And I see some of you are also asking questions already. We have, of course, our giveaway again on Discord. So if you ask a question on this live stream and then you take a screenshot of it, no matter if I answer your question or not, take a screenshot of it, post it in the general chat of our Discord server, and then you can stand a chance of winning $25 for your trading account. So let me see here quickly. Here we go. So you can see I went into the account settings of my margin trading accounts. I'm going to enter my promo code here, Academy -50, click on activate. And yeah, has been successfully activated. You can see now for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to enjoy a fee discount of 50%, also shown here. So that's always nice, of course, especially when we trade cryptocurrencies. It's going to give us a little bit more of money left in our pocket, going to hide our chance to end with more profits. As you can see here, also there's still an open order. I have here. I wanted to buy 3 Bitcoin here, $28,500 US. Maybe a quick word on this. Those of you who are following me also on Telegram know that I said this area here around $28,500 US has been a good support. Right now we have here the 100 days moving average also almost exactly at $28,500 US. So I try to find an entry there. We went almost all the way down here. I didn't get executed yet. I'm thinking right now, actually, for the sake of news trading, I might want to take my order out of them, and because we want to trade different positions, and then later when the markets calm down, should there be a high volatility, I'm going to probably re-enter this position. So for now, I'm going to delete this one just to bring you up to speed here. Because we are trading in a very fast-paced environment today, I'm going to change on my trading account this setting here from regular trading to one-click trading. This means every time I click here on the green buy button or a red sell button, my order is getting executed automatically without me having to confirm that first. So normally, you know this, if you have regular trading activated, you need to confirm first that you want to send the order. If you have one-click trading activated, you click on here and the order is automatically bought if I click on the green button, or I enter a short position if I click on the red button. Same here when I have a position and I click on the red cross. Good. Let's talk a little bit, because we still have some time left, about what to expect for today. So we want to see today, not August here, August 4th, we are the so-called non-farm payrolls. And I want to prepare you a little bit on what to expect here. So it's a monthly released report in economic data, on the American job market. And this always influences heavily, especially the US dollar. So if we see today, the forecast here is that there were 200,000 new job openings generated in the month of, I think it's July, prior to 209,000 US dollars. So what you normally see if the forecast is not hit, so means the actual number coming out is below 200,000, you might see a weakening dollar. Weakening dollar would mean then, for example, here for Euro US dollar, that you see Euro US dollar going up again. This is a daily chart. Later, of course, we're going down. And for me, this job report today is so interesting, because if we see where we are trading currently in Euro US dollar, by the way, you can do the same, of course, here with the DXY, the US dollar index. However, 58% of the DXY is euro dollar already. So you might as well trade euro dollar if you choose to. And if we zoom out here a little bit, you can see that this area is, in my opinion, very interesting at the moment, because it's exactly, or almost exactly, the 50% retracement of this large move of US dollar strength that we saw from early 2021 until Q4 2022, until we saw the turnaround. And it's a bit decision time. It's like all accumulates here at the moment. We have the Euro US dollar trading almost exactly at this 50% retracement at around about 109.50. And we have the 100 days moving average and the 50 days moving average as well. So should the number today be less good than expected, so let's say something like 150,000 or something like this, the chances are high that we are going to bounce off here again to the north. So into this direction, euro dollar going up is, of course, a US dollar going weaker, because you have to pay more US dollar per euro. So the interesting move probably going to be in there. However, if we see the number exactly being hit, we might also see no volatility at all. So that's always a possibility as well. We saw that, for example, last time during the interest rate decision, everything was like expected. And then, of course, you do not see any moves out there. I still have that one activated. We deactivate that as well. Not to mention, of course, guys, please give us a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And again, subscribe also to our Telegram Academy chat. You still have about 10 minutes left to cast your vote. I'm looking here, there were some more votes coming in, and it's really a close race. It's going to be very interesting. Seems like this time the community is a bit separated between bulls and bears. Normally, the Academy, of course, always very bullish for cryptocurrencies. Yeah, why is this unemployment rate so important now? Because what we've seen in the over 1 year now is that the Federal Reserve Bank in the USA has risen interest rates from almost 0% to now 5.25%. And the question is, are they going to raise the interest rates in the next meeting, which is going to be in September, so next month, one time again? Now, if you have been following our live streams and maybe also what Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, has been talking about in after the last interest rate decision, he said, like, the one missing puzzle piece for the Fed to decide to not further hike rates would be that the job market shows weakening. So what the Fed is actually hoping for is that this number here, let me make my screen bigger again, the unemployment rate, which currently is at 3.6%, or the newly created job non-farm payrolls plus 200%, plus 200,000, are coming in weaker than expected. So the Fed would like to see the, for example, unemployment rate going up to maybe 3.8 or 4%. Why do they want this? Because if more people, and this always sounds so mean in my opinion, but if more people are unemployed, this is going to mean there's less consumer spending. The American economy is highly depending on the individual consumers, people, getting their paycheck and using their paycheck to buy stuff, basically. And more unemployed people mean, of course, that less people are there that can pay for stuff. So there's less demand for goods, which usually will then result in the prices for goods being lowered. So this is a mean of fighting inflation. However, up to now, the US job market has really been sturdy and has been performing good. So there are like two hearts actually in my chest beating at the moment today. Is on the one hand, of course, I want to see better job data, because that means the economy is still going strong. And as a matter of fact, we have seen inflation coming down substantially to now around 3% at the last reading. However, for the outlook for the next interest rate decision, it would be better if we see today a weaker number than expected in the non-farm payrolls. So maybe something around 150,000 would be ideal, maybe an unemployment rate of 3.8%. And you have to separate yourself a little bit from the fact, of course, that there are like individual things attached to that a higher unemployment rate, of course, means there are more people unemployed that probably don't have enough money to, get by maybe. Yeah, I can see already a number of questions coming in. Maybe we look quickly at some charts that I deem interesting for today. Of course, as I said just now, euro dollar, for sure, one of those charts. Of course, we're going to look at Bitcoin. And yeah, Bitcoin, I mean, the boredom continues, really. We have this range we have been trading in here for large periods of time. If we include this, like the times in the beginning of the year where we also went over 28,500 US dollars, is basically the massive range here we have had since April. Since we saw this large thing down. This can be a good thing because it makes like range trading easier. That's why I said the other day here, 28,500, probably a good place to enter a trade. It's also going to be dependent, of course, on how the data is going to be. Here, 30 or 31,000 as a matter of fact and above seems like a good area to short. However, If we have the time, yeah, we actually have the time. I also want to point out something like this about this. What we see at the moment here with Bitcoin is like a typical accumulation phase. And maybe some of you know this chart, the Wall Street cheat sheet. It's like a psychology of the market. Markets tend to always move in those phases of disbelief up to euphoria, until anger, capitulation, depression, and so on. And I want you to pay attention to this area in the middle here. So between capitulation, anger, and depression, because this very much, in my opinion, looks like what we are seeing right now for the past year in Bitcoin. Yeah, we had this slump down, capitulation, then we had even further lower lows here, which is the phase of anger. So we're talking about this here, depression, moving on, and it's the wrong chart. And since then, things are starting to look a little bit better, but people are still in disbelief. So you will hear very often out there still, no, I'm still waiting, for this last drop to 12,000. Maybe it's not going to come. As you guys know, I'm pretty bullish. I think we are in a new bull market already, although this can, of course, still mean that we are going down to 20,000 or something still, because those phases are, of course, very volatile. When we look here, what happened in the past, the last 18 months prior to the halving, we always had those phases with a lot of up and down, but ultimately, the tendency was going up further again. Good. 3 more minutes to cast your votes, and then we will soon do a little bit of positioning here, because we still have 13 minutes until the data is released. Now, guys, be a little bit prepared. It can, and this is always the thing with news trading. News trading is a little bit like gambling, honestly speaking, always. No, it's fun, but if you want to do this today, if you also want to news trade, please do not do it with so much money. Don't risk all your money on the outcome of an economic figure, because we do all have not the glass ball, the crystal ball on the table. So you never know, is the number going to be better or not better, or worse, as a matter of fact. Let me see here. A couple of questions. Yeah, I'm German. Yes, the Great Closet, great name, by the way. Yeah, I'm German. I think you can hear by my accent. I've been living in the USA, have been living overseas in Singapore for large portions of my life, but I never got rid of my German accent. Let me see, maybe 1 or 2 questions before we go into this. Let me see. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Pal. And do you agree that this U.S. job market data is the most important of all reports? Kind of. That's always funny. Somebody the other day said to me, back then last week when we had the U.S. interest rate decision, this interest rate decision is the most important until the next interest rate decision. But I think it has a special flavor to it, because I think a lot of what the Fed is going to decide whether they want to raise interest rates or not is going to depend on this job report, and then next week also on the inflation data report as well. So yeah, it's going to be important. I hope, of course, it's going to be not disappointing in terms of 200,000 new jobs are expected, and then later that number is exactly hit. So that would be a little bit boring. Good, guys. So all votes have been cast. Let me quickly do a screenshot of this and upload it so we can see which positions we want to trade today. I'll put this here. And then I need to upload it quickly here. And as a reminder again, if you also plan on trading, use really the promo code, gives you some extra money. This is very important. Less fees means more money in your pocket. So I'll quickly upload this one here. Here we go. So let's see how the community, the Trading Academy community has been voting. So these are the results. Most votes today, and that's something new, for a long euro dollar position. And in second place, a long Bitcoin position. So this both goes well with each other. Interestingly enough, long gold came in the third position. There was, for a large portion of today, gold was actually, the long gold position was in the number one spot. So the bears on the US dollar, so to say, and bulls on Bitcoin caught up. So I'm going to engage now in a long euro dollar position and in a long Bitcoin position. And then later we are going to see how this works out for us. So let's maybe start here with the Bitcoin position. Remember, I activated here the one-click trading. So I'm going to buy one Bitcoin. First of all, I want to put my chart down maybe to a 5-minute chart. So later on we can see better. Bought one Bitcoin here. And I'm going to change to Forex as well. And here to euro dollar. And then let's say we buy here a position of 50,000 euro versus US dollar. That was long, no? Am I right? Long euro dollar, long Bitcoin. Just that I'm doing everything right here. Here we go. Also executed with one trade. And as you can see now here, can you see it actually? Yes, you can. If you follow me here to the top, you can see I have quite a large balance here on the account. So my available margin is still 99.8%. This is exactly what I meant, you know. Don't like risk all your money on an event like this. It can very well be, you know, that things go into the wrong direction and then we lose a couple of $100 or euros, or in this case, US dollar TIFA, so US dollar. And you don't really want to gamble too high on this, except when you have insider knowledge. But at least I don't know anybody who has insider knowledge on these things. You can see here as well also, I'm not even trading here with a leverage of 1-to-1. Of course, it's easy to say if you have 100K on your account or over 100K on your account, it's more difficult to do so with, let's say, 100 US dollar, but really don't go crazy. You know, it's fun. It's a nice thing to do. So far, we have a tremendously good success rate, of course, with this as well. And yeah, but still, you know, we don't want to risk everything in on one trade. Good. We still have like 6 or 7 minutes left. Really busy chat today. Nice, guys. Maybe we do a question or two more, and then we'll see later how it goes. I want to change here also in trading view my charting. Oh, by the way, I saw a question just now before I forget about this, asking if I'm losing a stop loss here. In this case, so normally I always would use a stop loss. However, on news trading, you very often see, especially if the release data is not as all as expected. So in this case, for example, if the data would come out, the non-farm payrolls, let's say at only plus 100,000 or maybe zero or something like this, you tend to have a lot of volatility to both sides. So the likelihood of being stopped out, despite maybe being right with what you thought the market is going to be, is very high. This is actually why I say also don't use so much leverage on things like this, because of the high volatility spike events like this can have, the likelihood of you being stopped out unlucky because there's like this one large candle going down maybe and then up again is very, very high. So you don't want to fall for this trap, so to say. However, this is one of the very, very few occurrences where I tend to not use a stop loss. However, I only do so because I'm not even using 1-to-1 leverage on those trades. As a general rule of thumb, of course, if you're a beginner trader, do not news trade and always have a stop loss. Yeah, we are doing this for the fun, of course, here. So I changed the chart settings here to 5 minutes. We are going to have a view here later on Bitcoin, of course. We also want to see what the S&P 500 is doing. Of course, we're going to probably see the reaction, especially here from euro dollar. At the moment, seems like there's US dollar selling already, so maybe somebody knows something already. But let's see how the data is coming out then. Still have here 4 minutes to go. And then we'll see. By the way, quite interesting. I saw this earlier here. The job openings actually came in. That was on August 1st, so on Monday, came in worse than expected. So maybe that's a hint already in the direction that the non-farm payrolls are going to be under 200,000 new jobs here. But we'll find out in 4 minutes. And yeah, now it's going to be. So Batu is waiting for a small dump after the data. What are you planning on doing then? Sounds a little bit like you want to buy Bitcoin or something when there's a small dump. Or is that just me interpreting this? If you guys are trading this and maybe later on you win some money, share your story here with us. Always nice to see people being successful. Yeah, this is also a good question, Dirk. When will we finish this boring down market? Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's horrible. It's like a never-ending summer hole, so to say. With no real news that impacts the market coming out, and it's also very typical for this phase of between anger and depression and disbelief. This long sideways range where nothing really happened. And if you scroll back. Here on the Bitcoin chart, you can see you can see that this is very typical. Yeah, this long sideways range, which can last for 1 year plus, really. So be prepared for the sideways range maybe going to last a little bit longer. However, this is really also then the time where you need to strategically position yourself slowly again. That's why I have been saying since last year, October, slowly start accumulating Bitcoin again, slowly start accumulating stocks again. We caught some very good prices, almost at the lows there already. And my belief is that this is the right position to be in, and this is going to pay off latest next year after the Bitcoin halving in probably end of April 2024. So have a bit of a longer perspective. However, as I said before, if you are more in the area of let's say scalping or maybe swing trading, those can also be good chances, to capture trades, enter the market here at 28,500, short the market at 31,000, and so on and so forth. So to really play with those ranges, maybe also with a little bit of more leverage then. However, also, always be prepared, of course, that a trade can go in a direction that you don't wish it going. So we have 1 minute left now. Time for a sip of coffee. I need to change my chart settings here, back to 5 minutes. And then I'm going to monitor here euro dollar, because I think this is where we're going to see the effect. Let's hope that TradingView is fast in delivering the numbers, and let's hope also that the number is not going to be exactly at 200,000, because that would probably mean that it's a non-event. We want, of course, to see some action, hopefully into the right direction, into the direction that you guys were choosing. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. We don't see any reaction. Okay, so the number weaker than expected, actual number plus 187,000 newly created jobs. Unemployment rate, interestingly enough, here is better than the forecast, 3.5% instead of 3.6%. So first reaction we see here is, of course, to the north here by euro dollar. Let's quickly see also what we see in Bitcoin. Bitcoin also with a nice large candle. Now we need to manage our position. We are up already here by $200. And this is, we want to take the money here off the table. So this is what news trading is, of course, all about. Let me quickly check here how much we did in winnings now. Where's my screen? Oh, sorry, I removed it. Here we go again. So we ended up making around about 190 US dollars, which is quite good in a minute, in my opinion. Once again, the community has been correct and made some money. And as always, guys, this money, of course, is not for me to keep. This money is going back into the Academy community and is going to be distributed, for example, by things like this, by sweepstakes, where you take a screenshot, where you can win some money, or other sweepstakes that we might have on Twitter, and so on and so forth, bonuses, and so on and so forth. So this is quite nice. Again, community was correct. And what you can see right now, so let's monitor this a little bit further. Of course, here on the 5-minute chart, the candle looks like crazy, crazy big. If we zoom out here, maybe to the hourly chart or even to the daily chart, you might see actually the candle is not so big. This is not considered like a super, super large reaction of the market. And if we look here really again at the numbers, it's quite interesting, because on the one hand, we had less jobs created than expected. So 13,000 newly created jobs less than the 200,000 that were forecasted. But on the other hand, we have the unemployment rate here at 3.5%, and the forecast was 3.6%. And this is something probably the Fed is not going to like very much, that they see this job market is still going strong. I'm very, very sure actually that in the next couple of weeks, we are going to see now that the expectation for a rate hike will be higher. Now we can see here at the moment, 78.5% of market participants think that in September, we are going to see the interest rate unchanged, so at 5.25% to 5.5%. 21% believe that it's going to be at 5.5 to 5.75%, so plus 25 basis points. And interestingly enough, this number was like at 98% a couple of days before. So the amount of people that expect stable interest rates now already has been gone a little bit lower already. Good. So not so eventful in my opinion. It could have been a bit more action on the market. Nonetheless, even with kind of a lowish volatility here, we managed to rake in 190 US dollars per minute. If you do that every minute of every hour during an 8-hour workday, you end up with getting rich very quickly. You can also see the market's already coming back, probably because after the initial reaction, and this is also why I, by the way, closed the position so quickly, people saw that, okay, like I said just now, the actual number is lower than expected in newly created job. However, the unemployment rate is better than expected. And the Fed is more going to look here at the unemployment rate. So this is probably the thoughts that the market participants have now. So I wouldn't be surprised actually if we kind of in a couple of hours end up where we started. So a bit of a non-event. Nonetheless, we made 190 US dollars. And again, the Telegram community of the Trading Academy was correct. So bravo, guys. This turns out to be a really good trading strategy, in my opinion. All right. So how was it for you guys? Did anybody trade? Did anybody win some money maybe? Or maybe lose some money? That is also part of the game. Let's see. Maybe we have time for 2 or 3 more questions, and then we are going to call it a day today. Yeah, this has been actually a question here from Lampra Ragnar. We hear this project that some countries want to boycott the US dollar. Considering this and the possibility that the economy will improve, would you see Bitcoin and crypto could explode up? I think you probably are referring to the BRICS, the BRIC countries. So Brazil, India, Russia is part of it, and China, that kind of want to create an alternative to the US dollar where they directly trade in this alternative. So the countries do not need to buy US dollar and then sell US dollar again. Honestly speaking, I think it's a hoax. The US dollar is by far still the most important currency. And even if you, let's say, if you buy oil or something and you're not using the US dollar, you are using some sort of newly created BRICS money, or maybe the Chinese yuan or something like this, you still end up that you need to exchange this to US dollar again, because many countries, and especially if I look on Brazil, for example, or Argentina is an infamous example for this, they have a lot of their of the debt of the country debt in US dollar. So they are dependent to change their liquidity flows back into the US dollar because they need to pay on their loans US dollar interest. So it's for me, it's a bit of a hoax. I don't see really the danger coming from this. But I mean, then again, I kind of hope that I'm wrong about this, because, you know, it would be nice, of course, to see some more competition. Who knows? Maybe they are going to do this in Bitcoin data. The message for Bitcoin I see from this is actually that I expect during this new bull cycle that we are slowly entering now, that we might see more smaller countries actually putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So like what we saw one or two countries doing during the last cycle, and that we might see some larger companies. So I'm thinking larger companies like Apple, for example, that are going to put Bitcoin also on their balance sheet as an alternative, you know, to be not too dependent on the US dollar. And we can only hope, for example, also that the Bitcoin spot ETF, the applications by BlackRock and other US investment companies are being approved, because that would mean we finally have a vehicle for institutional investors in America to enter Bitcoin. Because if you are an institutional investor, if you run a hedge fund, a pension fund, even if you are the chief financial officer of a company like Apple, you cannot just say, I want to buy Bitcoin. You need like a regulatory environment to do so. Yeah, this is, of course, Baham commenting on this. BRICS will never be the alternative. US without the dollar only has weapons. What can be done without weapons? Yeah, let's hope it doesn't come to this, that we see some kind of US dollar war escalating or something like this. There are more than enough crises right now in the world going on, in my opinion. Okay, guys, so I can, of course, not answer all questions. We want to cut this a little bit short today. Has been a pleasure again. Thanks for watching. Remember to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Do me the favor, also post your question underneath the live stream now. I will then later return and answer your questions. Of course, you also have, of course, the opportunity to write me on Telegram. So if you join our Telegram Academy channel, you'll see a pinned message where you also see my contact details. So you can write me directly, and I'm also usually answering as fast as possible. The other alternative is, of course, that you get in touch with us by email, academy@primexbt.com. Rest assured, every question will be answered. Next week, guys, we are starting with a new show Tuesday at 8 a.m. UTC. That's 10 a.m. CET. Bulls, Bears, and Breakfast, where I'm going to, this is going to be a regular show now from next Tuesday onwards, every Tuesday at 8 a.m. UTC, 10 a.m. CET, Bulls, Bears, and Breakfast, where I'm going to lay out my plans in terms for swing trading for the week, where we can discuss the markets, you know, maybe share a coffee, share a croissant, or whatever you have for breakfast, maybe porridge or something like this. and discuss about the market. Of course, when next week, Thursday, also, we are going to have a live stream on the release of the inflation data, which for sure is going to cause a lot more volatility than what we've seen today. Until then, guys, still stay patient. Always remember to use a stop loss, and happy investing. Take care.